Hi and welcome along to the weekend roundup, brought to you today by FairPlay. We're going to be giving you some details on that later on, where you can run some bets against your mates. But to discuss all the big games over the weekend, including the North London derby, we are joined by an esteemed panel of Flex, big Man United fan, United View, AGT, of course, from the Cock TV, big Liverpool fan. Fuad, right, is in the building with a big smile on his face. Tottenham fan, and there's no Matisse today.
Wow.
Yeah, and we're wondering how this guy has dodged out of being here today. But replacing him, we've got the beautiful Sophie Rose.
Hi guys.
Big Chelsea fan in the building, and we will get to Chelsea later on.
I'm sure we will. Please delay it as long as possible. I don't mind not talking about it.
All right, let's start with Chelsea. I'm only kidding.
Get more viewers the longer you delay it, so better, really.
And also details later on how you can enter a competition to win a signed Messi shirt. All right, so signed Messi shirt here, brought to you today by FairPlay. But let's get stuck into it straight away with the North London derby. I was at the game. It finished 2-2 in the end. What can I say? To be fair, I think it was a fair result.
It's very Michael Owen thing to say.
I'm glad you laughed.
You don't think it was a fair result?
Listening to both stories.
Yeah, man,
I didn't want to interrupt. Flex interrupted.
I think it was a fair result because I think we should have been, I think the difference in the game was when Arsenal made mistakes, we got punished. Jorginho, what the hell he was doing.
Stupid old man, apparently.
You were warned.
Yeah.
When Tottenham made mistakes, which if you look, Madison made exactly the same mistake as Jorginho, we didn't punish it. We were not clinical.
Made it in a worse position as well, just in the box.
Yeah, we're not clinical.
Penalty.
We're not clinical. That would have made it 2-0, you know. There was another chance there with Eddie, you know what I mean, just cut the ball back, you know what I mean, he didn't get his head up. And I thought the first half we were the better team. I thought the second half, I'd say Tottenham were the better team. And yeah, I mean, I was hugely disappointed in the end, just because I felt if we would have been more on it, if we'd have been more clinical in the game, I think we would have won the game. But
I don't like that.
What do you think?
I don't like that analysis. And I feel like a lot of Arsenal fans have done this. Oh, it's our fault we drew the game.
No, we should.
No. Because
so you don't think
I did a preview with you.
Let me just say something. Hold on, one second. Just before you get to that.
Yeah.
So at 1-0 up.
Yeah.
Right. When Jesus presses Madison and makes the same mistake.
That was your moment to take it. That was your moment to kill the game.
Because, exactly. That was our moment to take it, and we didn't.
But guess what? The game doesn't finish there.
Hold on, wait a minute. Because we weren't clinical, that would have made it 2-0.
It would have.
You think if it was 2-0, you think you would have come back?
It didn't happen though.
I guess
we'll never know.
You can't eradicate the 70 other minutes of work that they did. It was really good.
No. I'll let you go, Robbie.
No, wait a minute. But I'm just going back to what you know what I mean, because you're already trying to. You're saying a lot of Arsenal fans. I said I just started off by saying it was a fair result, but I'm saying
I don't think it was.
No. Because within your analysis, you didn't mention Spurs at all, or how good we were, or the fact that
Madison. I'm leaving that to you to do. It's your team, right? I'm saying that if Jesus takes that chance, it's 2-0.
It is. But it didn't happen.
Exactly. All right.
And that's fine. But my thing is within that first half as well, the first 15 minutes and last 15 minutes, we bossed it. I'm sorry. And the way that game we came into it was we'd won 1 in the last 30. Arsenal just came back after 4-0. every Arsenal fan was telling me, this is going to be the one we're going to put you back in your place.
You said beat down time, didn't you?
Yes.
With expression. It was you.
Oh, yeah.
I believe you. So all this fair result, we were the better team. You should have bossed us. You should have schooled us. You should have took us to school. But that didn't happen in the first half. And I swear to you, when I saw those halftime changes of Havertz and Jorginho, you're talking about we missed chances and our mistakes are punished. No, Arteta got it wrong.
He did.
Them substitutions, taking off Jesus at the wrong time. And Nketiah was pretty much useless when he come on as well. I'm sorry. He should have been sent off. Like, there were managerial mistakes. There were players that didn't perform as well. All that Odegaard hype you lot were giving me and comparing him to Madison. Who stepped up? Who carried their team? Who looked like the leader? Who looked like the chief creator on the pitch? Only one of them did. And I'm sorry.
As I said, it's a
Spurs
game.
in that
It's
for me,
a game of margins, right? Because
everywhere.
It's not a game of margins because
Had Declan Rice stayed on the
had
pitch.
Maddison been punished for that mistake,
Could've.
you wouldn't be saying that
I
because
love
you'd
that.
be looking on it.
I
like,
love that.
No,
And
but that's what I'm saying. That's where the margins come in because it's Maddison who gets pressed and his pockets picked, and Jesus.
And guess what?
On another day, he has to score.
And then on the flip
every day.
side, when
every day.
you make a mistake like that, because so many times in North London Derby as well, we've seen with Spurs, they make a mistake, they get punished, they capitulate. That's where this derby, I was impressed. The character to come back after one. Okay, second one, you concede it. It's a penalty where you think, all right, it's been unjust. You come back to show the character.
Unjust?
Listen, we can all argue and
total
debate about
penalty, I know what
penalties
you're talking
because we
And
can
you're,
get
and
into
you're
the red
talking
card as
about
well.
you're talking about
Let's not
players.
deflect. Let's not deflect.
No, hold
because
on, you're
that
talking about-
second goal I want to get to is what you're saying. Madison should have got punished on one end. He made that for that mistake, and that's what I mean. The game doesn't finish when that first mistake happens.
not. Of course
Jorginho, I'm gonna make up for that error, and I'm gonna punish you this time.
Well done.
That's what my attacking midfielder
done.
does. Son gets 2, Madison gets 2, Basuma bossed that park in the midfield.
In the second
as well.
half.
Listen.
When Rice came off, he bossed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
When-
No,
when
when
Rice
Rice
was
was
on,
what was he doing?
No, in the
Rice was
first
on the
half,
pitch,
what was he
okay.
doing?
Nah, Basuma
You
was
played-
alright, man.
Madison was still having fun in the first half.
So with
Rice didn't lock him out of the game in the first
He
half.
didn't lock him out, but he didn't lock out Rice. Rice was playing there on his own. You were playing a double pivot. Rice was playing wicked.
Mick
Right?
Arteta's-
We were
it's
pressing.
Arteta's
Listen,
tactics.
we were pressing you up, right, and you guys were losing the ball time after time. If we would have been more clinical, right, we would have won that game. And let me just pull back because you were there, quick to jump. He's talking about Odegaard, right? He didn't have his greatest of games. I think
Right after the
Odegaard's-
contract as
I think
well.
Odegaard started the game.
Seen that before.
I think Odegaard started the game really well. I think what he did really stupidly, he complained about that yellow card, got himself a stupid yellow card, which then meant that every time he pressed, you noticed he had to kind of back off a bit. But let me ask you, hold on,
Can I respond to that?
Hold
Can
on,
I
hold on,
respond to that?
wait.
Can I respond to just that point you
Okay.
made there? Because you're talking about our older guys prevent. Udogie, very early in the
Very
game,
good.
gets a yellow
Very
card
good player.
against the best winger in the Premier League.
He got bun up
And guess
in the
what?
first half.
Locked up for the rest of the game.
Locked up?
Yeah.
What? You
No,
know
he
what?
did.
Couple
He
of
did,
cutting
Rodri.
moves.
Oh, well,
Couple
man.
of cutting moves. No, wait.
In the second half, he did.
Because after the
Saka got locked up.
after the cute deflection
Saka
that you
do
scored
second
and the
half?
penalty that you scored, we didn't see you in the second half.
That's
big
true.
man.
Hold on.
And you're playing against a fullback that's on a yellow.
I
You're talking about,
feel-
oh,
Red
Wait,
flag.
wait a minute, let me finish.
He should be
right?
scared to
Let me
press.
finish.
We're gonna have to let them do their whole thing.
Udogie, I'm sorry. On a yellow card, you should be cooking him.
Udogie had
Saka
a
didn't
decent.
cook.
Udogie had a decent half in
Where
the
was your
second
bid?
half when we lost control
Udogie,
in the midfield,
as Neville
so we
said.
weren't getting the ball out to Saka, right? So in the first half, he had Udogie on toast. And let me just reel back, right? When me and you did that preview on AFTV, I told these man about Ramiro. When you was there telling
is-
me
I
how
hate him,
great,
hate him,
he's world
hate
class.
him.
I told you
I hate
this
him.
guy, he's rash. He's a guy, he's decent.
He's a
and
liability.
you
What did he
told
do
him
wrong?
up to be this wicked centre back, and yet again we saw it.
You know, I
look
That
he
guy
plays
could
like
have
him.
cost you.
This
why he likes him.
highlights to me that you
Tell me
always-
about
'cause
Ramiro.
I look at the
Tell me about
handball-
Ramiro.
What he got a deflection and the handball that he gave away. I'm
Happens.
sorry,
And-
that happens sometimes.
No, he
if
was
you
just-
look at
he
his
was just
performance,
rushed throughout
now here's
the
the thing.
game.
You look at the performance
yeah.
outside of that. Him and Van der
When it's an
Ven.
Arsenal player,
Let me ask-
I didn't give out points. My team didn't get the penalty. The same thing happened. At least you got the penalty for the
Tottenham game.
sit.
It happens.
I didn't
Anyway,
get the
listen,
penalty.
you got your draw trophy.
It's not.
Well done.
Nah.
Twitter, everywhere on Twitter, all I'm seeing is Spurs fans literally acting like they've won the Premier League, like they won
Exactly.
the game. You
No,
drew. You drew. You drew.
We're the only neutrals here.
I would
So
not.
let us
I would
cook
not
now.
bet.
She's
You're
let us
the
cook.
manager.
Listen, she's
Bias.
I think for
Actually, not
starters,
biased.
I think for starters,
You
I'll
drew
go
the
after
game.
you.
this is what for starters, right? Arsenal are the better team, right?
Yes.
Arsenal are doing great things under Mikel Arteta, and this was the game that even I expected as well. Abby sat right last week, and I said, "Hey, you ain't gonna be laughed after next week when Arsenal mash you up."
Yeah.
Because that's what
3-1 I thought.
100%.
Like
I
that.
predicted 3-1 actually, right? And this is the game where Arsenal was exactly, and there's a reason for that, and the reason for that is because Arsenal are better, right? And what we learned from yesterday is, and even I had to do it. The Ange Ball thing is real. I'll say that.
Oh, what are you shaking his
No,
hand
I'm just saying, no,
for?
just out of giving him his recognition because I feel like Spurs do deserve credit.
played
for
better.
yesterday.
They played a lot better than
and you know
Liverpool.
what? Do you know what's ironic? I think you need to apologise to Son.
Just on me.
I watched some of the previews, yeah, and you was like, Son, what do you mean? We think you're gonna be scared of you? What are you gonna do? And I know they didn't win. Man's came to the patch and scored 2 goals.
Scored 2 goals.
Speak on it. Hey.
Listen, I'm
I'm not
just saying.
apologising to Son.
I know
Because Son said Arsenal won't want to play us
And you
this
didn't.
time. Wait a minute. This thens the little mentality because you can only say that if you won the game. You didn't win.
No, but you.
Bloody
No,
hell.
Robbie, that's not. You can't say that.
Don't say that. But you can only say that if you smash them like you're supposed to because they're little Tottenham.
Listen.
And they came there and showed confidence.
Keep the same energy.
You make an apology.
They didn't get the 3 points.
Robbie,
didn't lose the game.
I'm winding you up, yeah. I'm winding you up. But what my point is, though, on a real note, what my point is that I don't think enough praise, and I don't even want to keep praising Spurs. I want them to just go back to just losing every single game where Fuad don't watch the games anymore, Abby don't go to the games anymore. It's annoying. But let's just say what we saw. Let me just say they played well. And what Ange Postecoglou has done to go into a North London derby and face adversity where actually the first 10-15 minutes I was like, Spurs are playing out the press.
Yeah, they're still
They're
good
looking
Spursy,
all
though.
right. Arsenal aren't really.
No, we need to give more respect to Spurs.
No, I'm not giving any respect to them.
And then they get look, that's unfortunate. They don't go with the runners. It hits off. Romero goes in. Then you're going. Spurs are in trouble here.
Yeah.
Arsenal are gonna come.
Yeah, we should have put them to bed.
Udogi's on there, and you didn't. But what did they do? They showed character. Yeah,
I agree.
And they played some good football. And you know what? All the hype that's around Maddison. Yeah, you can steal other people's things and all that.
Get your own moves, bruv. I don't love that.
Like, get your own styling.
Yeah.
Get your own styling. You're doing all that, but Maddison's right. He must have still been doing that when I spun him and left him for the goal. It was an even game, and I just think Spurs deserve a lot of credit when they're not getting.
Because you know what?
Let me say my bit. You've all said stuff, man.
1 second, credit. That's exact. But
Yeah.
you know what?
I don't feel like Arsenal fans giving them credit.
You're giving me stick. He's giving me stick, and that's exactly what I said. It's an even game, and it was a fair result. And
But I don't think you're giving them credit though. You're saying all the things wrong that Arsenal done, like Spurs weren't good on the day.
So
Spurs were good.
Hold on. So I was pointing out my stuff because I'm an Arsenal fan. So I'm pointing out
So
what
you don't
Arsenal
wanna-
did.
you don't-
Hold on. And then I'm handing it over to him now to say what he did.
But I feel like you don't really agree with him though.
Yeah, but he also gave us no credit.
Do you think Spurs were good?
No, this is all
listen.
tit
I've
for tat now.
not come here.
Let me speak.
Wait, no, I've not come here and landed loads of victories. I could come here and I could sit here and say, well, actually, you know what I mean, bit of adversity for us as well, because you know what I mean, just before the start of the game, Trossard's missing, who's been like banging them in. There's no Martinelli, you know what I mean? Half-time Rice has to go off, who's been, you know, the guy in that midfield. We ain't got no Thomas Partey.
I do think if you had those,
I never
you would've won
mentioned,
it.
I never said none of that. All I went with is what was there, what we played with, right? And at the end of the day, I was just, the thing that disappointed me is that even despite the fact that I did think Spurs played well, and this is my own personal thing as an Arsenal fan, I was annoyed that we had the chance to make it 2-0.
Yeah, that's true.
And we didn't take it. And I looked at Tottenham, what they did is when we made those big errors,
They took it.
their
No, but not
chances.
just, but they forced big, massive saves from Raya.
Did you see that
they were
one?
playing, they were
Yeah,
playing
they
well.
forced one
Did you
good
see
save.
that?
They're playing
Did you
well.
see
Brilliant
that?
save from Raya.
I was
Brilliant.
just going to mention that Raya. Well, I think it was Brennan kicked away and he was like, just like.
Yeah, great save.
That's so
Great
hard
save.
to do, especially in a
Also,
derby.
Arteta made a big call to not start Ramsdale.
Yeah.
Mate, Raya's kicking it out of touch, mate.
Yeah,
He's going for the. He's going for the. What's the try thing when it goes out in rugby? You got a line out. He's going for line out.
What I would say, and I agree with you again, and I admit that they have improved Tottenham definitely
massively.
When you see their style of play, how they played, right? They were very brave in their play, and they've definitely improved to what you know. I was
They've
chatting to
improved, Robbie, but I'm absolutely not going to talk about this like they won.
No, but Sophie, let me land that, because everyone's had their 10 pence.
You drew
Let me
the
jump in
game.
now.
That ain't a
Come
win.
on, man.
I think, again, had you have had Trossard and Declan Rice for the whole game, it would have. I think you just would have edged it. Yes, you did make mistakes.
That's
I think a
all
lot of
ifs,
those
ands,
were.
or
But hold on a
buts,
minute.
though.
I think those mistakes in the second half were the substitutions that Arteta made. Otherwise, I think you are ahead of Spurs. But yeah, have Spurs improved? Yes, but they've always been quite prolific up front anyway. They've always been that team, especially when they play Chelsea. Like they only need 1 or 2 chances and they're probably going to score. So that's the only difference I see there. But I'm not going to celebrate it like it was a win. You still drew. If you're not winning a game, I'm not saying that you've massively
No, but Arsenal
improved.
fans,
You improved a
were
little
giving
bit.
it a whole. You're
but
coming to
you're
our gaff. We're
rem-
going to put you back in your box.
Yeah, you're
Come on,
you're-
listen.
You
no,
improved
you should.
marginally.
You should. I know. I'm not saying you shouldn't say that, but I'm saying in
I-
reflection, we look at it and go,
I
you
heard Gary
didn't really
Neville.
do that, did you? It was
Gary
close
Neville
game.
yesterday complaining saying there's about.
He was so biased in his
celebrating.
commentary.
I'm like, yeah,
Here we had a poor commentating performance yesterday.
He was saying, you over-celebrate.
Did we celebrate any more than what Tottenham celebrated? It's a derby, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No,
but he meant that had an emotional effect on the game.
I've seen Gary Neville. Have I not seen Gary Neville celebrating a game? Right?
Do you remember when he did that
taking a
against
mick out of it? Yeah, against Liverpool.
Got banned for that. Fine. Anyway, listen, it's my turn now. Robbie, if you don't believe in the project, mate, come down to training. I'll show you what it's about. If you don't believe in Son, if he was playing for you, you would have won the game.
You're being rude now.
It is what it is, mate. Robbie, chats a load of rubbish sometimes, so I don't watch him. But it was a very huffy and puffy game. There was 10-minute bursts where Arsenal were playing it, breaking the lines really quick. But then it was almost as if you said, right, you have your 10 minutes now. And every time you went ahead or had a big chance, you almost allowed them back into the game every time. They were cutting you up. And Udogie, I've got to put some respect on that man's name, because I was sitting here yesterday, I watched it. When he got booked, I said to Jason, he's a walking red flag. If you're Saka, go up to him, try and engage with him. There was a moment where Saka actually knocked it round him, and I thought he's in trouble. But it reminded me of Joe Gomez against Wolves. Got cooked by Pedro Neto first half. Second half, unbelievable, mature performance. No, I'm going to give him credit, Robbie.
Yeah, I'm giving him credit, right, overall in his second half. But when he got booked, that was then after.
It's Saka's fault that he didn't get sent off. He should have tested him more.
Inside of him, he couldn't do that, and that's what led to the goal.
Well, no, Brennan Johnson actually ran past. It wasn't Udogie. It was Brennan Johnson tracking back and run straight past Saka, and then made the space for him.
That wasn't Saka cooking Udogie. That was just confusion.
For that goal, he went past Udogie.
He didn't.
No, he didn't. Robbie, watch it again. Watch it again.
I saw the same thing happen in my game.
Who did he go past?
He didn't go past nobody.
This is what happened.
Space, just ran inside,
and then
took a shot that was going to the corner.
Yes, it wasn't going in, by the way. It wasn't going in, Robbie. It was going wide. It was going wide. It was going wide. But I agree with Declan Rice coming off. I'm hearing it's a back injury, which is actually against what was reported, a calf.
He said he was holding. Arteta said after the game that he had discomfort in his back.
Yeah. So hopefully for you guys, he comes back, because without him in that midfield, you bring on Jorginho. He had about 4 options to play an easy pass.
Ridiculous.
And it's just after you've scored as well. It reminded me of. Do you remember when Fabregas did the same to Tottenham in 2009 when Arsenal just scored? They were pissing around with it. He just went, Bosh, see you later.
That was different because
Bosh, 2-0.
Fabregas run the whole thing, but he got the ball, and that, like you said, he had 3 options.
4.
I've told you about Havertz, and I've told you about Jorginho, and I've told you exactly what they're like. And I did say to you when you're bigging up Jorginho, I said he was wearing a King Kai t-shirt last week. And you will see it.
To be honest, right, Jorginho, since he's come to Arsenal, he's been all right.
No, he has been. I agree.
Every time he's had to come in, he's not a starter, but every time he's had to come and fill in, he's done all right. But yesterday, that was horrendous.
But that's just a howler.
That was horrendous.
Also, as well, if you're Ramsdale on the bench, yes, he, did little camera applause for his mate Raya, which I understand is a nice thing to do. Yeah,
bro, he wants some camera time, man.
Yeah, he's got to play out. He knows the camera's going to be on him.
But if I'm looking at,
well done, man. I can't keep me out of the team.
But you're right.
Goalkeeping friends.
Teamwork.
But if I'm Ramsdale,
meanwhile, the other guy's kicking it in the stands.
If I'm Ramsdale looking at that game, listen, 2 really well taken finishes from Son, which you have to give him credit for. 2 chances, 2 goals, 1 touch.
Very, very,
he couldn't stop them, and he made an amazing save, Raya.
He did, but I'm looking at that thinking, well, he was tested today. He's been beaten, so I think it's my turn to come back.
Should he have saved? You think he should have saved both of those then?
I think
no. What I'm saying is he still got tested in the game.
He got tested. He made
didn't
one.
Really pass
what's the thing where he pushed it back in?
He made. Yeah,
that's the only thing.
I think that was a bit of fault.
And his distribution. He's been brought in because his distribution is supposed to be excellent, better than Ramsdale. And it wasn't yesterday.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
If that was Onana, you lot would be doing the meme thing.
But Arsenal can only blame themselves for not winning that game. However, Tottenham at the same time totally deserved it, and I would actually say they probably edged it.
I think we actually should have potentially walked away with the 3 points, in my opinion. But you lot, if anything, considering where we were before the game, listen, I said I would have took a draw before the game, and I think that's the reason why Spurs fans are happy with the performance. I think people think we're treating it like a win. No, for us, it's the past few weeks. It's looked good and it's looked promising, but this was our first test.
Big test.
And it's like,
all right, next week we've got Liverpool at home. That's another unlucky result that we always get. another big test. So for me, the fact that I've seen a good performance, good character, individual stepping up. Van der Ven as well, I got to say.
Very good.
We want to talk about Romero, but Van der Ven was a unit yesterday, I felt like. And
yeah, he played well.
I'm starting to, he's growing on me a lot, honestly. But I just feel like individuals stepped up. Ange got it tactically right. I actually want to think like, Arsenal want to start looking at their league performances a little bit and say what's gone wrong. I think injuries is one thing, but even stylistically, aside from the press, I think the press looked good yesterday, but on the ball, you lot just don't look the same. I'm not seeing Ben White overlap as much as he was last season.
He had a poor game.
The legs looked on a little bit yesterday. There was bursts.
Yeah,
for me, I think it's not like we're celebrating a win, it's we're celebrating this is confident performance in a game where it was an actual test against the top side. Let's not kid ourselves.
I think we were disappointed yesterday, but I will, say Tottenham. I was impressed with them. They played well.
Was you surprised with them? Not just impressed. Was you surprised?
I was surprised at how brave they were. Not many teams come.
They played.
And that brave where you're trying to play out right from the start. And as I said,
after that mistake,
nearly got caught out, but they still stuck to their principle. A bit like what we do.
Yeah.
Right. So I was impressed with that because that's obviously they've had Nuno, they've had Mourinho, they've had Conte, and they did not play like that.
Spurs should have capitulated, especially after an unfortunate thing like an own goal. In my head at that point, I thought this is typical. They've done all right, but now they're probably Arsenal are
even when the Jesus moment comes, you're thinking, this is the snowball effect is coming out. But it was as soon as I'm seeing them still trying triangles at the back, I'm like,
okay.
We're
still feeling confident.
If we talk about Arsenal as a whole, like about this season, it's like I felt like that in our game as well. I'm like, no, Arsenal should be coming and coming. I'm like, then we nearly nicked it.
The thing is about Arsenal at the moment is we're not at our fluent best at the moment.
No,
definitely not. Yeah. But we're still only 1 point. We're still only 1 point worse off than we were the same amount of games last season. So we have had a few injuries, and I felt yesterday I would have loved to have seen Martinelli in that game.
I said yesterday, if he was playing in that game, he puts one of those two big chances that you had away, and you win the game.
Let me get into some of the super chats. There's loads of those coming before we start moving on to some other games. Juice Source says Spurs fans acting like they won the treble when they really drew against their biggest rivals.
Good result, though.
Professionals have standards, Plemon says Nketiah is an outrageously bad player. Until he's a first-team player, we won't win anything. 24 years old, and we still wait for him to kick on. Waste of space. Bilal says, tell Fuad to choose his words carefully. It's early days, he says. Top End Buzz says, where was Eddie's red for his studs up? I didn't think that was a red. I thought
it was yellow card.
He tried to give Derby energy, and it was a little bit over the top. But I was like, you could get away with that one.
Jonathan says, Basuma and Idoji was a waste in the first half. They only came through after Rice came off, and Idoji couldn't come close to Saka. LJ Brown says, before the Spuds get carried away with this draw, I would like to remind you that they've not won a cup other than since 1991. There's a lot of Arsenal fans jumping in here. Everton won the cup in 1995. Tina says, are Arsenal already out of the title race? No. As I said, 1 point worse off than they were last season at this stage. Renzo says, how Robbie gave Odegaard in his severing his player ratings is beyond me. Can't wait for him to get cooked by expressions of best.
Give him a 7.
I gave him a 7 because I still thought, even though he weren't at his best, he still always puts 100% work rating.
He didn't play a 7, Robbie. He's not Odegaard.
It wasn't his best game.
I think 5.
Madison was 8.
That's more fair.
You think Odegaard is high?
5.
No,
hold on, wait a minute. Before I read the next super.
Work rate high, because you just tried to give a 7 out of work rate.
I thought
if that was a Richarlison, you wouldn't give work rate for a 7.
You was just trying to say hype over Martin Odegaard. Behave yourself, right? The Avenger says, question for everyone, are Arsenal players better than Liverpool? I think the drop-off in quality on the bench is alarming. Well, remember, last week, 2 weeks ago, the drop-off wasn't alarming on the bench. There's loads of players injured at the moment.
I know about injuries, mate. I know.
There is going to be a lot of drop-off on the bench when you look at it like this. But if you look at when everyone's fit, there's not a big drop off on the bench. Cross comes shot FC says 65 million could have got Cover or Maddison, but the club decided to get that false footballer Havertz. When is he going to end, Robbie? Who are you blaming this on? I'll tell you, the Havertz.
What do you think of him when he come on?
Yeah, it's poor.
Are you going to wear the King Kai t-shirt again?
He pats our body.
Listen, because with me,
Wearing the t-shirt again, though.
I'm not going to be reactionary. I have to wait. I have to see a body of work of him, right? But so far, I was chatting to my mate this morning, it was Arsenal thing. I said, the thing that I'm finding very frustrating, if you buy a player for 65 million, I want to see, and it was the same thing I used to say about
Ozil.
not Ozil. We sold him now. I've forgotten his name.
Hey, this is how they treat their Arsenal players in our
Our top signing, most expensive signing. Pepe.
Wow. Wow, Mr.
I've got a whole
He gone.
Sunday morning,
I used to
don't
say
worry.
that about Pepe. I think when you sort of like the club, you're supposed to come on now and dominate some games. I want to see you. When Havertz come on yesterday, I don't want him to.
He's never that player. He's never
he didn't necessarily do anything wrong. He didn't necessarily, but
Just a bit of a
just
nothing
passive.
performance.
He's just-
I want to see you come on and stamp your authority on the game.
He can't though. Not in any game.
I told you, we've had this conversation. There will be no stamp of authority ever unless it's a semi-final at Wembley or maybe if you make it to a Champions League final. That is it.
I'll take that if that's all
I
he
told
does.
you, Premier League, do not bring him on.
Ishak says Kai Havertz is officially 007.
Yep.
Flexing an OG and Pen shameless. Ref saved you, says Elster. LG Brown says once every 15 years Spuds win a trophy. You're more likely to see a lunar eclipse than the Spurs win anything. But a draw, they won the Premier League. Kalechi says, hey Sophie, I'm looking forward to seeing Chelsea in the playoffs next year.
You've been down like a kipper there, love.
Can we admit this is the best derby in England, says Azad. London Nomad says Spurs at their best with an injury and a mistake-driven Arsenal. Guess it shows levels. And Rizwan says Tottenham draw 2-2, an injury-riddled Arsenal and act like they've won the Champions League. Tottenham as a result, got a result because Arsenal weren't at it. Remember, Fuad, it's the hope that kills you. Levy will let you ball down. And same old Robbie, an Arsenal fan tears.
training, mate.
Just admit, we were good yesterday. Remember, you predicted us to come 10th. I didn't predict you to come 10th. I admit, listen, I'm not...
Where did you have us predicted?
In the... At the start, I think I had you like
8th.
6th, wasn't it?
8th, I think
seventh?
it was. You
I
had
Chelsea,
Villa above
8th.
us, I remember. You had the categorical 6, and then I remember you had Villa there, so that would be 7 there, so we'd be 8th.
All right.
All right.
But listen,
Like a preview.
You know the videos, you're like, yeah, I'm going to
as I
spin the
said-
block on this one.
As I said, I ain't being salty, right? And I pay compliments to Spurs. I thought they played well. You know what I mean? Give them their dues, man. They played well, right? And it ended in 0-0, in 2-2.
Yeah, you see, they forgot the score.
It's a draw. We're just gonna move on. Just to tell everybody, you might have seen the logo there, FairPlay. Just to tell you a bit about FairPlay, this video is brought to you by FairPlay. FairPlay is an app that allows you to place real money bets with your mates without the need for cash. So I can bet against you. And you know, normally I bet against you and I beat you. And then
No, but you've never got any cash to give me. Do you know what I
and then
mean?
you know you wouldn't pay up, right?
Right.
With this, you pay up because we both put our money down.
So
on
it's
the
a
app,
fair
right?
play
Yeah.
exchange
There's-
of monetary funds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's no commission. So when you place your bet against your mates on FairPlay, you take 100% of the winnings, and it's free to download. So you can just click the link in the description and download it. So if you both want to bet a tenner, the winner would get 20 quid. FairPlay is not a bookmaker. The app is designed to get bragging rights against your mates. You can bet on anything. You can bet on whatever you choose.
Don't mind that.
Which team will win a game. How well you do in a golf match. I saw you with your clubs last week.
Yeah, I'm ready to challenge anyone to.
How many fights you could down, literally anything. Use the promo code DR Sports when signing up, and you're going to be entered into today's bet of £5, right? It's for free. And the bet is this. Will Darwin Nunez score more goals than Rasmus Hojlund this season? That's the bet.
I'll have a bit of that.
Right? Who score more goals? You're going to be automatically entered into a draw, and the winner will win a signed Messi shirt from Qatar, from the Qatar World Cup, which me and you were both there. And you.
I was there as well, yeah.
Right.
Let's not
That's
forget.
a big prize.
Big prize, right? So all you got to do is to enter that and answer the bet is
I'll make it more
Darwin
interesting.
Nunez or Rasmus Hojlund.
Should we make it more interesting?
What?
I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
This is your guy, your star man, big money signing.
Yeah.
Let's switch it up.
Go on.
Why don't you bet me that he outscores Darwin Nunez this season? That's
Isn't that
fair.
what it is?
No, he said Nunez to score more than Hojlund. I'm saying, why not you back Hojlund to score more than
I'll
Nunez?
have a bit of that. Rasmus to outscore
Listen,
Darwin.
it's your new star on the
What's it?
block.
So we
Scored
basically-
already, strong, athletic.
So Darwin's
believe in him.
Yeah, he's what's that? He's your new Ollie, innit? That's a super sub. Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh.
Hojlund can start all the games.
It's funny. He scored 2 in the 7-0 recently from
Once
the
we
start.
once we get some players back, Rasmus
So
Hojlund.
is this
All right.
real
Can we do that
confidence?
through FairPlay? Can we do that?
Yeah,
I'll
we can
have a
do
bit of
that. We can do that for the app.
How
right?
much?
So download it right now. Let's move on to.
No, go on then. We'll put it in the app, and
in the app.
no one is escaping this. I know I made
right.
some questionable bets last season, but I've got a much more level head.
You tried to
this
get
year.
money out of me before
Got
something
one
even
currently
happened in
with
the summer
Darren
as
Ben.
well.
You were asking for bank details, so don't chat like that.
Don't need
Yeah,
bank.
but look,
but-
it didn't work though, and that's why I did
'Cause Harry
transfer in the
Maguire
money.
wanted to
He said
keep
Harry Maguire's going to go
his-
for this or that. I said, well, if you don't go anywhere, he's like transfer me the money. The fee's been agreed, mate. He ain't held up the AGT
See, that's the
jumping the
thing.
gun.
But you know what?
all
Yeah,
the time.
but that's
All
the
right.
great thing.
I would have been asking for a refund.
Wait a minute, that's the great thing about this app, right? Because then there's no arguing, right? You
That's
just
what I
get-
mean.
I need
Right.
this with
How
him.
many witnesses have we got?
Let's. Well, you don't need no
Over
win.
6,500.
Thank you. I'm going to do
Right?
that.
Hoyland will not score more than Nunez. Let's agree that now.
Let's talk
This
about your
man-
game.
Go on, yeah.
Liverpool yesterday winning by 3-1.
Right.
Nunez with a cracking
Yeah.
goal. He also missed. You're talking about Jesus' one.
That was a howler.
One
He has a
that
few of them. He has a few of them. Scored the hard ones.
Yeah, he doesn't score those ones,
He
but
missed that. Absolutely. Did you
That's
see
a
the one
ball
he
by
missed?
McAllister as well. Ball.
so
Yeah.
if I start,
It's a great goal. The goal was brilliant.
So this week, if I start praising Liverpool, are we all just going to stand up and
do you know
walk
what?
off?
No,
Keep sleeping on us.
Just don't.
That was
no,
disrespectful
no,
last week.
just don't. I saw another thing, and I was going to screenshot it and just have it here ready for you.
Right.
Because there was another Szoboszlai thing where it's Szoboszlai in numbers. And I was
Yeah.
like, AGT's going to be all over this. So as long as you don't just go, and I'll tell you one thing, here's Szoboszlai in 90 minutes, or here's McAllister. Just talk about
Do you not
your
want
game.
analysis?
Not really.
What are you
We just
after?
want you to just tell us what happened.
Right,
and
okay.
just keep
Could
it
I,
moving.
could I ask this question? Did 3-1 flatter
Yes,
Liverpool?
I think it
because
did.
at the start, that first half,
Yeah, chances. man.
West Ham had so many chances. Again,
What up to you, Antonio?
Mikel
Yeah?
Antonio.
Why?
You
used to-
sausage.
Why, Mikel? After
Yeah.
he said that as well.
That would have been
Listen,
2-0,
man,
innit? I mean,
talk
again,
about
it's a
that.
similar
He had
thing.
the
what I'm-
chance to. And what did he do? Bottled it. Mikel Antonio never, ever disrespect Liverpool at Anfield again. He came saying, "Oh, we'll beat Liverpool on Sunday and we'll finish above them." What are you going to finish first?
I can't believe
You
you said that.
sausage.
Hey, listen.
You don't say
I was
that.
just
You go to
don't
Anfield.
do them
Do
things,
them things.
When
Nobody
you go
knows
to
that.
Anfield.
No, but then, and
He's
also,
never won there.
He's had the chance in the 6-yard box with the dead header.
was
Man,
easy,
he should have
easy.
scored,
But your
man.
point,
That would have made it 2-0.
yeah, your point does stand because, we start the game off. West Ham were all over us. We get the penalty, which was a clear pen. Salah dispatches. I was actually maybe favouring towards Nunez taking it. He scored a nice one in the week against Lask. So nice for Salah to get that kind of confidence boost back from the spots. He's missed a few. So that was a good goal. Their goal was actually excellently worked. And Liverpool fans gave a standing ovation to Lucas Paquetá, by the way. We had Nicky on the fan cams yesterday on the COP TV. Him and Mario were both waxing lyrical about them. He finds Jared Bowen, who is excellent, chests it down for Antonio, sweeps it out for Kufal, crosses it. An argument to say fantastic header, bravery shown by Bowen, but Van Dijk's got to be getting across his man, who's about half the size of him.
You should have scored the second header as well.
And then the second header, to be fair, when you watch it back, Joe Gomez is in a really good position. He comes across and blocks the angle. But is an excellent save from Alisson, from the header from Souček as well. But then we kind of turned
That
it
was
on,
big
and
progress, sorry.
Szoboszlai and McAllister is starting to look like some partnership now. There's a really nice connection
Yeah.
between McAllister and Nunez as well. Szoboszlai actually looks like he's been playing for us for years. He's
Settled in
22,
straight
bro,
away,
and
innit?
apart from maybe the Chelsea game in the first game, he's ran every midfield in terms of cover, distance covered, assists, goals. He's popping up everywhere. He's saying, "You go and do that. I'll sort you. Trent, you push up. I'll come out on the right." He's basically what we needed exactly, and the goal from Nunez after he missed that big sitter, where I was getting onto him because time was ticking at that point. But for McAllister to just be nonchalantly looking, and do you know what? fair play to Nunez, because if you watch it back again, that ball's not on.
No.
But as soon as McAllister makes contact, Nunez is gone.
Yeah, it's not
and
the
he's in
other
that
way around.
space.
He doesn't point and say,
Exactly.
give me it here.
And that connection that they've
it's like
got,
almost telepathic. He's like,
that connection that they've got,
yeah.
you know, they're the same age. They're both South American. They seem to spend a lot of time with each other outside of the training ground, drinking mate and stuff like that. But that little clipped pass over his shoulder, it's a great finish from Nunez. And then the third goal is probably the flattering one, because I still think West Ham were in the game. I just think they run out of
Played
steam.
well, West Ham. They just.
But are we still sleeping on
convert.
Liverpool, by the way?
Well,
Well,
I was
I've
about
never
to say
how are we
that
feeling?
though,
Yeah.
because I just feel, I was talking to Troops about this on our podcast. I was like, we're all talking, there's a lot of noise around, you know, Spurs have improved, Arsenal, your new signings, how great you're playing, City obviously miles ahead. Nobody's really talking about Liverpool when actually you're getting very good results, regardless of how the game goes. People, it feels like we're just being a bit like sleepy.
I
when
prefer that.
when really,
Yeah.
and everyone's just very
I don't-
silent around you, when really you're actually title contenders, if you think about it.
Absolutely.
I don't think anybody has been sleeping.
Yeah.
And nobody would have said that, I think,
Like,
before
even
the
in
start of the season.
Even in a lot of the season previews, I was seeing some
Yeah.
people predicting them to
17
potentially
games.
challenge.
I predicted
17 games unbeaten.
I predicted at the start of the season
I
that
think
the
everybody-
Arsenal, Liverpool, City challenge.
I think everybody expected a bounce
what I
back,
said, yeah.
but there was going to be questions about kind of the defensive midfielder position that you need to address. The defense, I think a lot of people were saying Van Dijk, Trent, they're not really at their level that they were. Robertson is on his last legs, but I'll be honest, I think your defense has actually impressed
Shout
me
out
this
Joe
season.
Gomez.
I think
Matip was
even Joe
excellent
Gomez
yesterday
filling
as
in
well.
at right back yesterday as well. I thought it was
Brilliant.
pretty decent, but even that midfield kind of McAllister, how, as you were saying with Soboslai, I think those two
It's
have
because
just...
the structure in front of the back four now as well is better.
But you have to give Klopp credit for that as well.
Of
I think a
course.
lot of people last season when things weren't going well were
Seventh
Klopp
season.
is
Yeah,
finished
yeah.
seventh season,
Syndrome.
and
Get out of here.
And I think this season, as much as everyone's predicting, okay, Liverpool might be back, I don't think anyone wants to give Klopp the kind of credit for
Facts, man.
reinventing it.
I've
a little
always
bit, in my
liked
opinion.
Klopp. The only reason I sort of writ you off this season for whatever is because when I saw you play against us at Stamford Bridge for the first game of the season, I felt like that you know. You
Look
had
what
the more,
happened since.
You had the more experienced
you
team,
and me.
especially the more experienced front three, and you know Salah's going off and getting.
He's
you know,
getting better, though.
whatever. No, I know, but that's what I'm
Salah,
saying
it's
though. But I'm just saying,
Did you
like,
see- I know
ever
it's
since
only-
then, it seems like you've just.
I know it was only last,
You
but
know, you're not on the
midweek,
decline
that
anymore.
cameo against
10
when he
minutes
come on
and a
Europa
goal.
League, I said,
Simple
Not
thing.
make the keeper.
Salah did this last year when people tried to suggest that, you know, Salah's not quite this.
He's
that.
just
Let
not
them
scoring
say
as much.
world-class,
But is he not
He's
like your
world-class all
chief
the time.
creator
Bro,
at
he
this point, bro?
Yeah,
Like
he
he's not
assists.
he's maybe not the goal scorer, but he's
14
like,
But then
games
it's
I've
in
gonna
a
be
row,
like
baby.
I've got Diaz, I've got
Only two.
Jota, I've got Nunez, I've got all the goal scorers here. I don't need to be
But
that
don't
guy
get twisted.
now.
There's going
But
to
I'll
be a next
still do
bit
it, though.
around Christmas or some next time in the
still
period,
pack that
and it
down.
can really small condensed.
100%.
He's just going to
But
bang.
what we're talking, just quickly, what we're talking about now is 17 games unbeaten.
comes a stat.
He's assisted or scored in the last 14 games. The numbers are ridiculous. He's got as many European goals now as Henry did for Arsenal in a lot less games. Every competition he plays in for Liverpool, he assists or he scores, and he is literally getting better
Why
in
you can
front
let
of
him go
our eyes.
Saudi? This is
Exactly. That's why I was there going 350 or just deal with the king proper. But they didn't come proper.
Big test though next week.
Massive test.
At Tottenham. Because there is one thing with Liverpool though, they start in games slowly. I've noticed that in a lot of games they're
Giving
at the
away
start of
goals.
games. Yeah, they're
But
giving
we
up.
always win the game 3-1.
Yeah, they're giving up.
Everyone. I think you'll do that a lot.
Giving
this
up
season.
chances. There was that game against West Ham, slow start. West Ham on another day take a few chances. There was a game against Wolves last week. Remember, if Matisse
First
Nunez
half,
puts
yeah,
in that header, could be. I mean, you
When
can't
all these
afford to do
things
that
start
next week.
happening and
Cunha,
you're still winning
Cunha,
the game, slowly but surely there is a feeling that starts to build off the back of these games where
Yeah.
you go, but they
Don't
didn't
matter how you
score
played 6
and we
games ago,
won.
we're
So
still on a winning run. Yeah.
we're going to carry on, and I think the longer this goes on, people are actually going to go. Because again, I was sick and tired of the 7th season syndrome. No one saw Klopp in his 8th season anywhere, did they? But that's what we're seeing right now. Liverpool 2.0. He said, I love this team. We're going to grow. I don't know how big they can grow. But listen, we're in everything still. And I'm really impressed so
He
far.
looks really motivated, Klopp, to get this rebuild right. And I said it here. I was like, when Liverpool were going through what they was going through last season, obviously we was doing the banner and all that,
lot
which
of
I'm going to
banner.
do. But I did say though, I said Klopp deserves every bit of time he needs and the resources to need. He's proved everything at that club to do this rebuild. And actually, it's going to be quite entertaining from a new to see how does he do this then, because that midfield is completely changed.
Bro, remember the last two seasons it's been, let's hope Thiago's back fit because he's so key to it.
Forgot about him now.
Take the time on the physio bench, big man. Like, they don't need him now, and that's what you have to give credit to.
Came on and was excellent as well, bro.
My boy,
once he starts cooking,
he's looking after him. I like
see that cross for Nunez, Diaz in the week.
During the week. That's a great cross.
Beautiful assist.
What an assist.
That's a great cross.
Let's
we've spoken about a lot of the teams at the top. Let's move down to
You're too happy though. You need this.
Say that again. Say that again.
We've spoken about a lot of the teams at the top. Let's move down to the bottom and talk about Chelsea.
This is the bit I've been looking for.
I like that. That was a good segue. That was a good
Especially
segue.
for you today, and I've been so nice about Arsenal, and that's how you treat me.
but
the game is the game.
Yeah, listen, we're 14th.
Listen, I'm just talking facts. I mean, I want to be nice to you, Sophie. I want to be nice to you, but this is Chelsea's worst start to a season. Ever? Is it ever? I think for about 50 years or something like that.
Time.
I mean, when you think about the amount of money that's been invested, over £1 billion into this squad, to be in 14th place and to have already lost 3 games, 2 at home, to be on 5 points after 6 games, I mean, you must be very worried at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, I feel very depressed at the minute about it. I wasn't sad about missing the game on Sunday. I have to say I was away working. But now listen, do you know what I've always said? I don't think there's any difference between an owner that has a load of money and doesn't know how to spend it, and an owner that has loads of money and doesn't want to spend it. I feel like it's exactly the same to me. I feel like Todd, as much as you can appreciate an owner that wants to pump money into a football team, he doesn't want to know what he's doing. I don't think he's ever watched a game of Premier League in his life. That's to me what it says. He is thinking, okay, I'll buy all these really young players, I'll build it up. You know, they're all 20, 21 years old, some of them are younger than that. They haven't got any Premier League experience. And I think the difference is, like, say, for instance, we still had the likes of Frank, John Terry, Ashley Cole, and we gradually throw younger players in there. That's a different story. We've not done that. We've got still, I think, obviously, Caicedo's back now. We've still got 11 first-team injuries, which is a lot. We've got serious, I don't know what the hell's going on with the medical team and the background staff. Something's going on, because it's just not normal. This has been going on for over a season
sacked this morning.
I mean, it's madness to me.
Bruno Sauter was sacked this morning.
Well, somebody has to.
Was he still there?
First team coach.
Bruno from Brighton.
Sacked this morning.
He came in Potter, didn't he?
Yep.
Well, whatever. And I think we've tried. Every game's the same. Every single game you watch us play this season has been the same. We have all the possession. We know exactly how to get the ball to the box. We cannot score. We can't score a goal.
I genuinely think that's the biggest mistake within Chelsea's
and I'd rather he just spent 500 million on 10 strikers. I don't know how many you can get for that price in this day and age, maybe 5, but whatever, like that's all we needed. So this is all Todd's fault. It is all of his fault, because it's not. I don't really blame a lot of the players, because they're all young players and never played together. Most of them haven't played.
Yeah, well, what did you expect by assembling this?
I know it, and even Poch has said it. It's going to take a lot of time. It's not. They're all 20-year-olds. It's not going to. You're not going to be like amazing in the first season. But do I think we have enough talent in the team to score at least one against Forest and to win at least one against Villa? Of course I do.
Just can't score a goal.
But we just
top
can't
4
score
hopes
a goal.
already looking.
No, we're not going to get top 4.
Which would be a disaster for a team like Chelsea. The amount of money
Was
they
it even
spend.
realistic for them to even get it in the first place?
Well, if it's,
Pochettino just a few weeks ago was looking at, I'm going for every trophy.
Yeah.
He's
So
lying.
it's like, no, but I
He
think
said that they're the biggest-
when you
they're
look
the
at the
best to
talent and
work in
potential,
London.
you know there's
but-
talented players there. I
Yeah,
think
but they're also
Pochettino
young.
definitely has to implement some kind of structure, even if it's kind of like, do you remember Brighton when Potter was there, where you could see everything was in place, all he's missing is the number 9. I think, as you said, you are creating chances,
exactly.
you are
Moping.
dominating possession, I think the biggest mistake this summer or over the past year has been, we're going to splash the cash on every bit of player, but you needed a number 9 to finish it all off. And Nico Jackson, it's all well and good having the low risk move, but it's really now you're seeing we should have had maybe 1 or 2 options.
No, hold on a
variant.
minute. The big signing, and I think what was meant to be our plan, was for Nkunku to be our main striker, and for Jackson.
But even
Nkunku hype.
Yeah,
I'm
but
so
even
getting
Nkunku-
tired of it. I
But
swear
that-
to you.
I know,
Chelsea
but
acting
that
like he's
was
the
the
next
plan.
best thing when how many of you were watching Bundesliga games when he was out there? And I'm thinking, like, is he really going to come back from a 4-month layoff and really turn the season around?
Is he going to score you
Hold on a
$25?
minute.
I think
This is
from the
the
beginning
question.
they think he would have done well.
But this is the question for everyone. If you were 6 games in, you're not playing well, you're basically a brand new team, and most of the signings you've made and some of your best signings, you've got 11 first-team injuries. What would you think? If you had
He's
11
got to play.
first-team
Just get the
injuries,
3 points.
If you
Still
had,
got every game.
let's just say,
good
Odegaard
objective.
was out,
Yeah.
Declan Rice was out, I don't know,
Jesus.
Saka was out. How would you really feel? Because Poch hasn't really got much to go by.
He's
He can
got-
only deal with what he's got.
No, but Sophie, for me, I hear you, and you do have to take that into account. I even think that even when I look at United, you've got to take into account the injuries. You have to. They've got injuries to a lot of players. But I do look on it and say, even if those players were fit, I still don't see for £1 billion a team that's going to challenge for the league or even get anywhere near it.
No, but I
this
don't think-
season or next season. I've said this before, for the amount of money spent, I'd be looking on there. I'm supposed to see like a Victor Osimhen up front. I'm supposed to see in the
Galacticos.
That's what I'm
midfield.
saying. Todd doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, I don't see that. So I'm like, even if everyone's fit, I still don't see this as a team that.
It's average.
I just
Yeah,
don't
it's
understand.
decent.
I just-
It's
It's
not.
insane. Even with there are a lot of injuries. It's like, but
Who's the big
Poch-
injuries missing? I mean, Reece James.
And do you know
Yeah.
what the thing is? I hear the
Who
injury
else?
thing, yeah,
the,
but
the big. Sorry to cut you. Reece James.
Okay, well, up
in
until last
Nkunku.
weekend,
Who else?
it was Reece James.
No, but the
Fofana.
big ones, the real big ones,
and
where you
Nkunku ain't
like.
even playing the
they
Premier. We don't even
don't
know.
they don't have a settled lineup to be able to gauge
I can
what
read
is
them
a
out
big
to you.
miss
Who's the
or
one?
not. Yeah, like
Yeah.
when Arsenal say,
Yeah.
"Oh, we got Partey
I'm
out, we
gonna
got
read them out
Rice out
Yeah.
injured,"
Yeah,
I understand it.
Martinelli's out, and you're
Yeah,
thinking, oh,
because they're
Arsenal,
regular.
Varane, it's
These are
Martinez.
just got
yeah,
this
yeah,
work
yeah.
together.
But I'm looking at them like, apart from Reece James, I'm looking. Who's the big players that are missing that would make a major difference? I don't know. Maybe Sophie can enlighten me more.
I'm trying to get them up.
Nkunku's unproven.
Just while she finds it,
Maybe
Chelsea
Fofana
minute.
at the back, I guess.
Maybe Fofana, but Chelsea at the minute, it is the biggest mess I've potentially ever seen in the Premier League. You've got the owner leaving the ground.
Mess. I'm just trying to find
You've
it.
got the
It's-
owner leaving the ground, sprinting to his car to get away from fans.
Bali,
They're
yeah,
going,
I saw
why
that.
are you
What,
running?
is that what you done?
Yeah. Why are you running away? Like, what is going on? You've got the owner running away. The
Pressure's on,
first team coach has been sacked this morning.
Here we are.
It is such a
I'll take
mess.
them.
They can't score goals. At
Okay,
this point,
so-
their goal of the month is going to be a goal from training.
This is it, right? So
If that.
Nkunku's got a knee injury. Broja, he was back on the bench just this week.
Not going to make a difference.
Reece James,
Yep.
Wesley Fofana,
Yep.
Chukwuemeka. He's been good. He's been
Yeah,
alright.
he's
been alright.
Chalobah's been out
game
for
changer.
God knows how long. Badashil, who the fans actually did really like. Caicedo's just come back. Lavia's still out and hasn't even played a game. Bettinelli's our third choice, so fine. I'll give you that. Madueke, who fans also
Madueke,
like, and then Cucurella, who can
average.
piss off.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying.
So out of those, that's what I'm saying. So out of those
Sophie,
players,
now you've read it out. It's
out of those
worse.
players that are missing, even if they were fit,
Injury
I don't,
hype.
I don't
Listen,
look
I'm
on
on-
that and think, wow. Apart from Reece James, obviously
Yeah,
Reece
yeah,
James, big player. None of the others I look at and think, this would be me.
It's because they're all new themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Lavia hasn't kicked a ball, and Nkunku hasn't. So we've got no sample size
But
to even
again, that's
suggest
what I'm
that
saying. I
that's
can't-
what they're missing.
Yeah, so I
That's what
can't
they're
blame
missing.
I can't blame Poch because he's just doing what he can with what's
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
there. But what I'm saying is though I don't think Todd is some fans would agree that it's a really good new strategy for long term. Okay, brand new players, 20 years old, 8-year contracts. Okay, I see it very differently in the Premier League because I think even if you do that. The Premier League changes every single year. You need to constantly make
Yeah, in
new
5
signings.
years, it's not going to be the same league.
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what is Todd thinking in his head when all he really realistically needed to do, if he wanted to, was sign 5 new strikers, have possibly another option for Reece James when he's injured, another option for Ben Chilwell when he's injured. That's all we really need to do. I don't understand.
Could have been a lot simpler.
I don't understand. He's made it such a mess of it, and I think to come in and sack all the medical staff and all the backroom staff and people that had run the club quite successfully for quite a few years under Roman, I just think it was very
Cowboy.
not narcissistic, like egotistical.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? And fans are looking at it now, and I think from other than the first game of the season when we actually felt like, okay, we gave it a bit of a go
Yeah.
against Liverpool, we've just been in a massive decline, and it's not even a decline, it's just a standstill.
Can I ask
How
you
much time does Poch get?
That's what I was just about to say. 'Cause
Sorry.
This batch of games, right? So obviously I know you got the Carabao Cup. Then there's maybe I think is it Burnley away.
But our
then
run-up's terrible.
after that, yeah,
it's like Arsenal, Tottenham, City.
So let's go for it's
Flex using my
Brighton.
stats, by the way.
Yeah, there you go.
What a day this
No,
is.
these ain't stats, these are facts. This is an actual calendar of what's going to happen.
Be here.
This ain't no guess.
What a beautiful day.
This is the official
Yeah,
Premier League
That's like the only
fixture
Tottenham
list.
fan I like. Don't mean to hear.
This is you should have more things like this in your phone.
I don't know. You
Right, let's-
you might want to check.
Right,
Let's
so
say that
basically, I think it's
fixture
like
list.
after Burnley, because you got to go Burnley at Turf Moor, which I can.
Tough game,
I
man.
just come from there, mate. It ain't comfortable.
Yeah.
We've got Fulham Monday night.
Yeah, Fulham Monday night. That's like Carabao Cup, I think.
Yeah.
No, we've got Brighton Wednesday. Then we got
Brighton and Carabao Cup.
Yeah,
Gonna go out of that.
And then we've got
Fulham,
Monday.
Burnley.
So that's fine, because
right,
if that
then
goes-
after that,
if that goes to shit, I only live
Fulham.
5 minutes down the road.
Is he gonna
Fulham's not
survive
easy.
this?
That's a
Yeah.
derby.
Yeah,
Guys,
I've already heard them this morning. I
I
don't
know.
need to
We
hear them
just
again.
have to just do it for the you viewers.
Yeah.
Is
Go on then.
Mauricio Pochettino gonna survive this run of fixtures?
Go on.
Home to Arsenal.
No, loss.
Home to Brentford.
Loss.
Away to Spurs.
Loss.
Home to City.
Double loss.
Away to Newcastle.
Loss.
Home to Brighton.
Potentially a loss.
Away to United.
And they're all lost.
Is that the run?
It is quite funny.
After these little 3 games coming
So
up.
that's
where
after the international break. I
After
know
the Burnley away
After the
game.
international break, it's us. We got them first.
from the 21st
Yeah.
of October
So read that.
onwards.
So read that from after the international break. So it's Arsenal away.
Arsenal
at home. They're at home.
at home. Brentford at home. Then they go to Chelsea. Then
Sorry, not Chelsea.
They go to
Sorry, then they go to Tottenham.
Yeah.
Then they play City at home. This is
Yeah.
back to back. This is
Yeah.
order. Then they play Newcastle away. Then they come back and play Brighton at home. Then they go away to OT.
Bloody hell.
Well, I'm just letting you guys know.
If he's on the wrong end of that, be honest, as a Chelsea fan, would you be going, I know it's a long-term thing, but we've lost the last 5 in a row. He's got to, or would you be like, or are you willing to say, it's an absolute mess, so he needs all of this season to get all the injuries, don't worry about that. Where are you at?
Okay, so personally, with Poch, I would give him the next 2 seasons.
Regardless of what happens.
Because I think he's a good manager.
Okay.
However, I actually quite like getting a flight out of the country, so probably, and it is my birthday on the 14th of November. So will I be around to
Typical
watch?
Chelsea fan.
Will I? I actually
So you
scheduled.
don't care 'cause you're not gonna watch?
I scheduled my flight to go out on the 13th of November because my birthday's on the 14th. Because I was just like, I
What
can't
is
really
this?
miss City and the Tottenham games. Now I'm actually thinking. Now you've read it out to me. Maybe
Do I
maybe
need to be
I will
there?
do a flight change and go before that because I actually think the City game could easily be 5-0. Easily be 5-0 against us.
Could get ugly.
But again,
Typical
maybe the boys will show up in the big game. I don't know.
Okay, let me
Chelsea
just couple
fans can't
of.
have it both ways, though.
Sanchez is
They're
the only
chasing
player I
their
can say at
owner
the
down
minute who
for
is getting
spending loads of money.
No, but what?
They're chasing the owner and he's running away. Why are you angry? Because he spent loads of
No,
money.
I-
you can't have it both ways.
Hold on a
spend the money
minute.
badly,
I've
don't they?
always
Striker.
said.
It's like
No, but they can be
That's not
angry, they can be
Like what
angry at the
Sophie
plan.
said.
There's
It's like what
not
Sophie
fair.
said right at the start.
There's
though.
no method to the madness.
That's not fair.
Sophie said it right at the start. She said it's like, it's the same as
Just
having
a
no
man.
money.
Yeah,
if you're going to spend it
but I've
badly.
also said you can't fault his effort. I'm not saying he's one of those managers who's just there for the there for the cash and wants a bit like
The owner.
Yeah, the owner. Like I'm not like you complained about your owners for ages. United have got problems with their owners. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I'm just
We all do,
saying
to be
that the way he's spending the money is very,
Yeah,
very
that's
clueless.
fair.
So unless
That's
he's going to have somebody who he's going to have as managing director of the club who knows what they're doing in the Premier League, yes,
I've just
he is
never
going to
heard
get
of
himself
that.
in a right.
Is
right
Poch helping
and I
himself
wouldn't be
as well?
surprised if he had to sell up.
Poch, they no left backs, is that 3 left
He's
backs on
gonna
the
have
bench.
to
not
sell.
Let me,
Money.
guys, can I do a few
We
super
haven't got a shirt
chats?
sponsor.
Can I do a few super chats? Ishak
gonna run
says,
out of money. I don't care how stupid it sounds.
Sophie, what were your thoughts when Pochettino took Mudryk off for Chilwell? And when we went down to 10 men, I don't understand why he's taking off our
When we
best
spoke about the
attacking player when we're going to sit back and counter. Kira Bitsy says, since Roman left Chelsea and Sophie's no longer on the Chelsea watch-alongs, we're in the mud. With Sophie, we were winning the Champions Leagues. With Bowley and his madness, we can't score goals. Forget
agree, babe.
winning a game, he says.
Anyway, credit
Zenikov
must be
says,
Villa as well, by the
Cover,
way.
Grealish, Silver, Stones, low depth City. Right, that's the players they're missing. And Ronnie says, players Chelsea got rid of, carried them. Simple. Yeah, some of the players they got rid of now. Are you thinking?
Who?
Not Havertz, but we wouldn't do any worse. Repka says, time for Poch to go. Toodaloo.
That's ridiculous.
He
Well, no,
says.
I'm not doing my Toodaloos yet.
Sheldon
That's
says,
That's ridiculous.
Todd Bowley needs to stick to the diamond where the team is pretty good. in a regular season and find new ways to lose in the playoffs. His LA Dodgers are like the Dallas Cowboys. What can go wrong will go wrong. Farrokh says, respect to Sophie for facing the music, but Matisse, your time is coming.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, thanks to Chelsea for taking the attention off my team, United. Well, United won this week.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're not.
Push Baller says,
1-0 against Burnley's nothing to rave about.
Chelsea are the only thing more embarrassing than Arsenal fans behave this derby. And Alex says, Chelsea is like having a six-pack with no... Well, I'm not going to say that last one. Right.
I can imagine what
you can imagine what the end of that was.
And well done to Sophie for coming in and taking it. Matisse,
that wasn't easy. Yeah.
Where are you, Matisse? We know where you bottled it. You bottled it. You're a disgrace.
But we know where he is.
This is a message we are sending. This message. We're sending this message to Matisse. Right, we're going to hunt you down and we're going to find you. Don't worry.
We're going to flog you.
You know what? Take the time off.
I will find you.
Yeah. You've got a run of games coming in. I don't know if you're going to be off for about 5 weeks. But we will find you, right?
But I've always been very honest about my team. I even predicted the score would be 1-0 Villa this week. Yes, I did. And
but
it
let's
was live
not
on
forget
the podcast.
what Matisse said, which is, I want 21 points from the next 7 games.
Yeah.
You're barely
Did he
getting
say that?
2.1 points. In the
Nitro
next
21 average.
Say that, yeah.
Oh dear, mate.
Nitro XX55 says Chelsea slide into the Championship before Everton.
Good.
No.
Manchester United, great win for Man United. Well, no, listen. That was
that in relief.
That's a pressure game, right? Yeah, I mean, you go, you've lost away to Bayern Munich, you come back, you're playing against a Burnley team at home. You know they're going to play good football.
Northwest Derby.
I think, Burnley started the game well.
A win as well.
Yeah.
Started the game well, but what a goal by Bruno Fernandes. I think that was unbelievable.
Van Persie-esque.
That was a Van Persie
It was
goal.
Van
It was a Van Persie goal.
Can I just say,
Shout out.
Johnny Evans assist as well.
You all laughed at the Emirates when he came on with Maguire, didn't you?
Yeah,
you all
including
thought
you.
he's nothing.
Including you.
You all thought, why are they signing him? Yeah, but I'll tell you why we're signing him. Yeah, you call it out, like, yeah. We're gonna do a lead judges, yeah. You gotta call it out, yeah. Because when the club gets it right, yeah, when they make good decisions, yeah, and bring in experience, yeah, we've got to give him his props, yeah. Johnny Evans is head and shoulders. He's our best defender.
Yeah.
He's our best defender.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello.
We're gonna get shameless with it. And we're gonna call it as it is, like, sort of mean, like, you know what I mean, like, yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
Because I'm telling you now.
No, really.
If you would have said to me in 2023,
Can someone cut that so I have that? That's fucking hilarious.
sorry, Lee loves that love. If someone would have said to me in 2023, Johnny Evans would hit a 40-yard pearl of a pass to Bruno, and we win 1-0 in 2023, you just would laugh. On tour, right? Johnny Evans was there training and came on tour. Me and KG was
background because I'm a bit
basically
clueless about it.
Johnny Evans has re-signed for Man United for a year. His last
Just for 1 year.
Yeah,
Right.
He ain't played for us since 2015. Like,
Okay.
In context of Man United, it took ages to get rid of Phil Jones.
Yeah.
And then they went, what do we do next? Let's go back and get Johnny Evans. It was just such a
one
Man
before.
United. And I was like, what are we doing? Like, great guy, great servant. What's going on here? And on tour, he got like spun against Wrexham. Your Liverpool lad. What's his name again? Paul Mullet. Yeah, bless him. He punched his lung in the game.
Yeah.
But he had a tough night against Wrexham. I'm going, nah. Get your fitness up, Johnny.
Yeah.
But then when you hear him speaking on TNT Sports, he was like, I thought my career was winding down. I pinched myself, you know what I mean? Like, I got that little giddy feeling. It's like, I never thought I'd be able to play for Man United again. And to have that type of game and influence, he actually scored, which was disallowed, actually.
Yeah, disallowed goal as well.
So I was really happy for him. Look, we can't get ahead of ourselves.
Let's see him at Anfield, though.
Yeah,
You know
forget Anfield. Even if it's just Palace at home with Eze and them man there and Elise. Yeah, let's not.
But he did his job.
But he did his job in that one game where we needed people to fight and do things properly.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you now, if Manchester United Football Club did not beat Burnley Football Club,
Peak.
massive problems. Huge. Even a draw.
Yeah.
Huge inquest. Because the only thing that's kind of going in our favour, is two things. One, there's loads of injuries.
Yeah.
And two, the teams that we lost to, you go, if you're not at it against Bayern, you're going to get moved to. If you're not at it against Brighton, you're trying new formations you ain't played before, you're going to get slapped. If you go to the Emirates, if you go to this new look Spurs, first game under Ange Postecoglou as well at home. But then if you go to Burnley, and I know I play a good football now, but if you're losing there,
That sounded a bit Scotland Yard. Huge inquest.
huge inquest. The
Spanish
inquest was
Inquisition.
absolutely. So it wasn't an amazing performance, but it was just what we needed.
done.
Just get 3
out.
points.
Yeah, man.
Get to the Carabao Cup on Tuesday against Palace. Beat them. Play them straight away again in the Premier League at home. We got a nice favourable run of fixtures and home games. We got like one away game, which is against Sheffield United.
Yeah. And I think
we
that's
won't
just-
beat them 8-0.
Yeah.
Definitely won't do that. But we just need some stability and players coming back as well.
Yeah.
So I was in the stadium thinking, I was nervous the whole time. The whole time.
Can I ask
So
you a question?
I'm just rocking my chair. I'm like, do not lose. Do not lose. I wouldn't have come today.
I saw you doing big up to you, by the way, for greeting the players as they came in.
Yeah.
Genuine question. This I did notice some kind of weird stuff going on with Varane's knees.
Nah, that's just his knees. Nah,
has he
his
got?
knees have always been like
Because
that.
someone said Oshgood Slatters, and I had that when I was younger.
Yeah, he's
Is that
just
like
got-
knee knocking?
He's just always had like little inverted, like little bow legs. He just walks funny, and he's had his whole career.
bow
I
leg,
never
yeah.
noticed
Yeah,
it.
he's
until
just
I saw
yeah.
that.
he's
I
always
was-
had-
I know
when
it's
he
at
runs, he's
Madrid.
kind of got it
Yeah,
as well.
he's
He's
got
always had
the-
it. Yeah, he's always had that.
Fair play to him for
Yeah,
going
look at the
so
career he's
far.
had with
Like,
that,
unbelievable.
so-
But it must have caused him a little.
But we
pain.
just had to just get out of there. Like, and actually, can I big up Hannibal Mesbury as well? Young kid. you know.
He's really good.
What you know, I'm not saying he was amazing, goals, assists, shots on target, but in terms of getting back to the basics, we just need someone who's going to be in there, run around, be honest, and act like he means
Sometimes you know
something.
what? When you
I
sometimes
think
if
he's
you,
good.
I've seen
Yeah.
I've seen
Don't get
Arsenal do that in the. Sometimes you bring in a few
to
young
basics, man.
youngsters,
Turn to the
man.
kids.
Turn to
And
them.
one last thing,
Yeah.
Mr. Fuad, Sergio Reguilon.
You want him?
Oh, don't-
30 minutes.
No, let me finish.
For you, my friend. For you, my friend.
Very good play.
25 million for you. Special price. Just for you, my friend.
No.
Just for you.
No, wait. Let me finish.
He played well.
Bro, I'm telling you.
No, I'm not getting gassed
Listen,
up there. I
hey.
know.
That's the second game.
I
he's
know
played.
what's going on here, right? This is what's going on here, right? He was nearly going to go to United a few years ago.
Big
The
accent.
buyback option, we didn't like it. He went to Spurs. He flopped at Spurs.
Yeah.
He goes on loan.
Started well at Spurs, though, didn't he?
Harsh, he didn't flop.
thought
Alright,
he
he
started well
started
at
all right.
Started well, got injured, loss of form, and then when he went on loan, he just never got the
Mate.
chances. I think he'll be good for you
Listen,
lot. Him and Malacia, rotation.
Stop what you're doing.
Little Spaniard,
Stop
little
what you're doing,
Dutchman,
my friend. What he's doing, he's going. I couldn't even play in pre-season for Spurs. Man United.
The dream.
He is playing for that contract.
But
Now,
I-
you know
I
what?
always used
At
to
the
think he was
moment-
all right, though.
No,
Same. I
he's
would've
been one of our best players.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, though, is that coincided with us doing bad, you actually need someone who's desperate. Like, I need to play that today's my
Yeah.
last game. We need that right now. Not
Back to
prima donnas who
basics
have got
a
the
bit.
big
You know-
contract and chilling.
His-
We need players who
His
are going to
attitude
fight.
reminds me of Herrera.
Yes.
Just happy
He
to
just
be
don't give
at
up.
this club, and it's
Yeah.
like, I will do anything.
Already, I'm not saying I'll sign him. Already, I'll keep him for the season.
Yes.
Already.
I
because
think
I don't
you
know
lot
when
definitely do
Malassia's
that.
going to come back. I don't know when Shaw's going to come back. You can see what's going on with injuries. Already, we need him for the
No,
year.
he's done well. He's done
Yeah.
well. Ronnie Dodd says, Flex, would you play Mount tomorrow in the cup?
If he's fit, yeah.
Okay.
If he's fit, I don't know
Yeah.
if he's going to be.
Okay. Let me just quickly, because time has just flown today, and by the way,
Is that NLD?
over
section?
7,500 watching live. Give us some more likes as well. And we've got 900
Don't ask
likes.
me any questions,
Get
I'm
us to
gonna
over
sit- I'm
1,000.
gonna sit this
Running
everyone out.
through some of the other games. It was a 0-0 between Palace and Fulham. Pretty boring, really boring game. Luton won, Wolves won. Wolves were down to 10 men. Neto with a great goal in
See
the
how many
game.
celebrations that guy did?
Like 9. He did that.
19
Like Bruno
celebrations.
Guimaraes that time.
We haven't talked about the
They were down to 10 men, and again, Luton, they got to take advantage of these situations.
Missed a lot of chances
If they're
as well.
going to stay up, they missed so
Hit the
many.
bar, to be fair. Colton Morris.
I think they got a very fortunate penalty. Manchester City 2, Nottingham Forest 0 in a very spicy game.
Definite red card for Rodri, by the way.
Yeah.
I thought it was a bit harsh.
Gave-
Nah, man, Casemiro got sent off.
yeah,
for that
I was
last
gonna
year,
say.
man.
Do you know what? I remember
Send his
Pepe
ass off,
got sent off for the same thing.
Yeah, man.
yeah.
Send him off,
That's
man.
You know what it is, right? You know.
2 hands on him like that.
It's so quick.
Can I ask this?
In the context of football.
Listen, I shouldn't even be moaning about
Yeah,
it.
because you're
He's
you're
missing
in
your
your
game.
game.
Missed
Your
the
nemesis,
Arsenal game, but
nemesis.
I just look on it, right, and I say, I hear that about the, you know,
red
you
card,
have, but
Robbie.
shouldn't there be a bit of common sense in football?
Yeah.
No, you know what I say,
Is that
Robbie?
enough for him
No.
to do that?
Robbie,
I think
Red
they
card.
just
You know
want to
what-
make it black and white. That's what it is.
no.
It's
You
keep
know
it
what?
simple.
You know what I would say, and you know what you should be saying.
What?
Toodaloo.
Yeah.
Toodaloo, yeah.
Toodaloo.
No, Toodaloo.
Adios,
Toodaloo.
amigo.
No, that's it.
No,
It's not
Toodaloo
really-
and everything,
It's
but
very
I
good
just
for you
think
guys.
sometimes in football, Can't there be a
No,
little
I
common
do
sense?
agree.
'Cause
If you look at how quick it was so quick and soft. And it was the same with Casemiro
Do you know
last
what it
year.
is?
And Will Hughes done
It's
the
the
same
realization of I'm about to do something.
thing. Yeah,
Oh,
and
I didn't mean it.
And it's
Because
like,
I know that's a red card.
Do not put your hands
Yeah,
on
so
anything.
shouldn't that be
I hear
a
it.
in today's
shouldn't
game,
that be a
it's
common
red card.
sense thing? That's not violent.
it's
It's
a
common
red
sense,
card,
but I feel like the rules.
Is that
The rules are the rules.
The rules been in place
Yeah,
for
okay,
long
yeah.
enough
About
now.
time they just stick to the rules.
Yeah, and I'm sorry for Rodri. You've been incredible this season.
yeah,
That
yeah.
for me,
Hold that
when
though, Rodri.
Casemiro did it last
Hold
year,
it
we was
though.
like,
Yeah.
it's a dumb moment. One of the leaders in the dressing room, you shouldn't be doing that. And I'm
Yeah.
sorry, City
As
right
soon as
now.
you put your hands on someone.
First red card in his career.
It's a silly moment from Rodri.
He's actually
Top
got away
player
with a
still,
few,
but-
if we're being honest.
Yeah, exactly. It's about time you got
handball.
that.
That's what I was going to say. It's almost like a full
Yeah, yeah.
circle
Bare
of all
yellow,
the stuff he got away
cynical
with.
Some of them
fouls.
things where the
It's like
refs will say,
Fernandinho
"Yo,
all
you've
over
had a
again.
few, man."
Yeah.
Let's keep this one, yeah.
How good were Everton? They looked
Very
good
good.
against Brentford.
No one saw that coming.
3-1.
Didn't Brentford have a couple of injuries though?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they
did,
do.
they did.
Like Rico Henry one's a big one. I really rate
But
it.
now I was impressed by
Calvert-Lewin,
Everton's
isn't
mentality to just like go for it.
Yeah,
I
you
saw,
know
I
what I
saw
mean?
some
Brentford
improvement.
away is not an easy place
Nah, I
to
saw
go.
some
Yeah.
improvement.
We
there.
saw them
I
do
thought-
that at Brighton away towards
They
the end
did
of
that
the
against
season.
Brighton away last
Yeah,
season.
yeah.
I think that's why Everton will survive, right? Because number one, there's way worse teams than them in them.
There's about four
Don't you
right
dare.
in the
And,
same
Don't you dare.
and they've got players
There's another
like
team in blue.
Calvert-Lewin and, you know,
Beto.
Decore and people like that.
He's still a
He needs
bit
to
of
be
a dog
better
player.
in front of goal as well,
Yeah, he missed the
It'll come.
Brighton.
Rash.
Brighton of Hove Albion.
Yeah, no, about Brighton, I've changed.
3-1.
You know, I said we have to say like full name thing and that.
Brighton and Hove.
Yeah, you know, I was like, I have to
Yeah.
when you speak on Brighton, say the full name and that, put
Athletic
respect on the
as
name.
well.
Since they kind of slapped us on that, we need to.
Back to Brighton.
Yeah,
Back to
I'm
Brighton.
not gonna lie. I'm so shocked about it. You see when they lost against AEK Athens, I was like, thinking that you all would think you're just coming to Europe and
Yeah.
I was like that as well.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, welcome to
Yeah.
I was
You
like,
want to come sit at the European table, yeah? Come hold these legs, bruv.
That's really shameless from us, you know.
It's shameless.
But-
I watched it.
Everyone needs that.
It always starts off like
It's like
that.
Newcastle
The
going to
Newcastle
AC
thing.
Milan.
Yeah.
What, you think you come
Yeah.
Champions League?
I was
There's just a little
true.
where you're like, listen, you lot are the darlings of football and that, yeah.
Yeah.
But you're a general rival to man now.
I was
I've got to
like,
stop doing this.
I was like, welcome to the big man.
Yeah.
Big man
Listen,
team.
this is what happens when it gets
They
to
bounce
European
back.
players.
look what they do. They just bounce back.
Good reaction.
And Matova's
Matova's.
goals. Oh,
Hey, listen,
he
man.
won't be there next year. He's going to be the next one.
Guy
Hey.
is like
We got a left wing spot.
Yeah, but you can have them 90,
I
80,
don't
90
mind.
million.
I don't
But I was
mind. You know
talking
some
to
players?
Ryan from
Evan
the Brighton
Ferguson?
social
Mitoma?
podcast, yeah, Brighton fan. And when we done a preview for our game, and he was saying like, when they sell on these players, he goes, who out of the players that we've sold have actually done really, really
No,
well?
no, we've got a good deal out.
No, he
Arsenal
obviously Ben
done
White.
well.
He goes Ben White, yes,
Yes.
And then at the time, Bassuma's like cooking now a bit, but but he said we just wanted to move him on because of
McAllister.
other reasons.
Yeah,
so we
yeah,
just
yeah,
needed
yeah.
him out. McAllister obviously is coming good now. Cucurella has been a dud. Moises Caicedo, he was like, I just don't think he's ready for that level. Watch, they'll find
I'll
out.
tell you
they'll
what,
see.
we done all right of it, man.
Yeah.
Ben White and Trossard.
Yeah.
I know.
And Trossard, it obviously,
Yeah.
it just went to shit
Yeah.
anyway because he was.
You made some. Trossard's a very excellent sign.
Yeah.
You missed him the weekend.
We did. Moving on. So Brighton getting a 3-1 win. Big win for them.
They're up there, man.
And Sheffield United 0, Newcastle 8. We was talking about Matty Renton
feel sorry
before
for
the
the
game,
manager.
mocking some of the Sheffield United fans
Oh,
who were
that
trying to
was
give
so
him stick. But 8-0. Now, Sheffield United, I was driving home from the Arsenal game yesterday. I was listening to some of their fans on the radio. I actually felt sorry for their fans, right? When they're talking about, first of all, just one guy goes, we must have the poorest Saudi owner. The owner's
their owner Saudi?
Their owner's from Saudi.
Really?
So the only
Damn.
owner ain't got no money.
Bro, boy.
From Saudi.
They got
Is that impossible?
the Saudi businessman, not the Saudi royal family.
Yeah.
See?
But they sold their two best players before the start of the season. They sold to Marseille. They sold Sanderberg to Burnley. One of your direct
And he
rivals.
come on against us. And I'm like, Zanderberg's a good player. as well.
Yeah, they sold him.
for LA Galaxy now.
I think, and I've heard one of their fans say they spent 20 million.
Yeah, it's
Cameron
not
Archer.
I mean, they even had an embargo in it up until recently where they couldn't even. I mean,
You know what? You're a player in this
8-0.
day.
8-0.
Yeah, right.
Do you blame the manager? 8-0.
No, I
mean,
don't.
how can you go from last week? They nearly
what I mean,
pulled off a great victory
That's the
against
players,
Tottenham
man.
to
Total
losing 8-0.
capitulation.
What?
The thing
Or
is,
was it just
Was that maybe-
Tottenham?
It was-
They just held out, and
Yeah,
that could have been
yeah.
8
That
as
game,
well.
that game, we should have been out of sight way earlier. I think Sheffield United this season, I've said them and Luton. I think they're going to be competing with Derby for that record, honestly, because the financial situation at that club has been a mess. And Cameron Archer, you're kind of hoping an academy graduate is going to come and bank and save your season. I always said in the bottom third, you need that 10 to 12 goal a season striker.
Yeah.
Neither team have that, in my opinion. And Sheffield, this is just a sign of almost, it's like the Bournemouth 9-0 last year. The difference is last season when Gary O'Neill came in, he tweaked some things and you felt like Bournemouth got some January signings. They actually managed to crawl out of that. I'm looking at Sheffield now. I don't think they can do that same situation. And Heckingbottom, if you're not going to get rid of the manager after an embarrassing home defeat like that and you're going to stick with him, you better stick with him now for the rest of the season, because this is now as worse as it's going to get.
All 3 promoted teams are in the bottom 3 with only 1 point.
But Robbie, on Sheffield United, you look at yesterday, obviously that's a bit of an anomaly, 8-0, rarely happens in football, they lost their heads. The game before that, lost in the last minute to you. They drew with Everton, and every other game they've had, they've lost by 1 goal.
The City one,
This
they
is
played
the only
fairly
one,
well as well.
and City as well.
So there's a manager, do you say...
he just needs
They've
a
had
bit
a
of
tough
luck.
start. With some of
Just
the
needs
teams
a bit
they've
of
had to
luck.
play in the first 6 games has been really tough, especially with there's this disparity in the squad. And
8-0.
the money.
I actually thought
But
that might be a little tricky game for Newcastle coming off the back of travelling to Milan during the week.
But what
8-0.
fixture is going to look easy to a team like Sheffield? Let's be honest.
Luton.
Like, that's probably the
Yeah,
only
they're the
one.
only one.
Do you know what I mean?
That's 6 pointers, though. That's
Chelsea.
not easy.
Possibly, yeah. But for me, I think they're just going to be in a tough situation all season. For me, it's just how they adapt to it. Just try not to compete for that record. Rhian Brewster was meant to be their big kind of
25
Cameron
million.
Archer
He's on the
type
bench.
signing
He's
the
still there.
last
He's not
time.
even
Yeah.
on the bench. I think
Does he
he's
still play
in the
for them?
squad, but he's just cast out a little bit.
Yeah, it's funny how Sheffield are run. I've said Luton and Sheffield, I think, are looking to get relegated and then come back up.
But
with
they've
the
only
parachute
lost all
payments.
these games by a goal. They need a bit of luck. Maybe get 1 win under.
Got a minus
I mean,
12 goal difference now.
8-0 is a little bit of a...
But I'm saying that's an anomaly for what they've done this season. Every game they've either drawn or lost by 1 goal.
Maybe
so
they were
They just
trying.
need a little bit of luck.
Question for you.
Maybe they're
Question
trying
for
to
you,
get
though.
somebody sacked,
Question
I
for you.
don't know.
Do you lot think that this 3-team group that have come up into the Premier League season is the worst it's been for a while, should we say?
Yeah,
let me
quality-wise,
judge it at
In
the end of
terms
the
of
season.
quality.
I think
Nah, you can see
Burnley...
already with them too. Definitely. And even Burnley, yeah.
5 games
Burnley
in
have got a
there,
shout, but
Luton are
every
going
game...
straight back down. There's no chance.
Luton and Sheffield United going straight back down. They've
They're
not
going back
invested. None of those 2
You're right, it
teams.
is.
None of those 2 teams either have invested to
You
try and
always get-
stay
you
in the
always
league.
get- yeah, you always
But
get-
you get some teams that come up like that, and they, like when Bournemouth come up, they invested to try and stay in the
When
league.
Sheffield United done it the first time with Chris Wilder.
Yeah.
Mate,
Right,
just
but-
They
before
might get
COVID,
back.
no one wanted to go
Yeah.
Bramall Lane.
Even Brentford, right? They came up, they invested a bit of money to try and stay in it. I look at Luton and I look at Sheffield United. They've invested no money. It's like they just resigned to going down. And like you said, try and come back up. Burnley have invested. Burnley could, but the only thing about it, they can't defend, can they?
Yeah,
Burnley?
I
They
told
defend,
them
it's terrible.
first
They
week,
play good
I said,
football, though.
don't come with this tiki-taka stuff that
Play
won you
good
the
football, but no
championship.
defence.
Have a plan B. Have a rigid plan where it's not going to be as leaky, because guess what? To play that type of football, you need top quality players in the Premier League. You don't have that. He's signing Belgian youngsters and hoping it's going to work. Listen, he's going to learn a harsh lesson.
Yeah. All right, we're going to wrap it up. Let me run through the league table. Man City top, 6 wins out of 6 games on
Shall I
18
leave?
points. Liverpool on 16 points in second. Brighton in third on 15. Spurs and Arsenal, the 4th and 5th place on 14 points. And Aston Villa in 6th place on 12 points. West Ham in 7th on 10. And Newcastle and United move up to 8th and 9th on 9 points. Down in the bottom 3 is Sheffield United, Burnley and Luton, all of them on 1 point. They make up the bottom 3. Chelsea, only 5 points from 6 games in 14th, with a tough run coming up.
We already know that. We already discussed it. I don't know why you need to bring it up again.
Right?
Pointless.
Listen,
wrap it up.
Don't forget, as I mentioned earlier on in the show, FairPlay. Viewers can bet against DR Sports. Alex, of course, thinking, Flex, you think that Hojlund's going to score more goals.
Yeah, we'll have a bit of that.
He'll score more goals than
Good job that money's in a safe
Nunez.
account.
Use the promo code DR Sports when signing up to be entered into today's bet. is £5 for Darwin Nunez to score more goals than Rasmus Hojlund. I'll have some of that. You'll automatically be registered into the draw to win a signed Lionel Messi Qatar 2022 shirt. The link is in the description. Get involved right now, and it's a great little app. I want to thank you, Sophie, for braving it today for that bottle
babe.
job, Matisse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
listen,
Matisse,
thank you.
come on, babe.
Thank you very
Gotta
much,
take the rough with the
Sophie,
smooth.
for coming in today. Fuad, big up yourself,
Hey,
man.
as always.
Congratulations on your point. You know what I
Hey,
mean? Where you going?
at the Emirates, we'll take it.
Where
do you know
you
what I mean?
going out for it tonight? You know what I mean? I'm only joking.
The actual only top
You play well, you
top
play
stats,
well,
so
you play
I love
well,
it.
you play well. Big up to Flex.
Big up.
And also you can catch him on United View, and of course, big up to AGT. You can catch him on the COP TV and also here on DL Sports. It's a brilliant Saturday football show, so make sure you check that out. By the way, well done for you. I was watching that this week. Yeah, well done, brilliantly. Right, so it's only 3 games as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you held it nice, man.
Listen, man, we do what we can.
Man,
you know
give me
what
all.
I'm saying? Back next.
I like when he goes, he goes, we give you all games, you know, Stockport 1 or something like
Yeah.
that.
Listen, you gotta mix it up, man. I was bringing AC Milan, Bayern Munich. I was like, hey, man, we gotta fill in the gaps, you know what I mean?
You're on it, man.
Regular little
Yeah.
watchers.
Thanks for watching the show. Don't forget to subscribe here to DR Sports, and we'll be back on Thursday with the weekend preview.